Okay, so we have page 297. I went ahead and filled out these tables and plotted these points. Now all we need to do is connect the dots. Now, whenever we have equations and not word problems, just always draw a line through them and put arrows at both ends. Unless it's a word problem and we have to figure out if it's continuous or discrete, always assume it's continuous. All right, so on the next page, 298, it takes us through some vocab again that we've already been through. Read it at your own pace if you'd like to. They give us some more examples of continuous data and discrete data and take us through an example. Now notice, in this problem, we have $5 off for each person, giving us our total. That's where they're getting this function from. They made it to use a table. They graphed the ordered pairs, and then they determined that it's discrete because there can only be a whole number amount of customers. So when we go to page 299, we need to ask ourselves similar things. We have that a store sells assorted nuts for $5.95 per pound. To figure out our independent and dependent variables, we know to look around our per. The unit in front is our y, the unit behind is our x. So I know that x is the number of pounds of nuts and the total cost is our y. So I'm going to go ahead and label my table accordingly. So this is our pounds. That's the x. And they want us to use 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in our table. Happy to do it. Now, we don't have our function rule yet, but we do know that our other unit is our total cost. That's our y, and we haven't yet figured out those values. We can pretty much figure out, though, based on the information given, that at the very least, 1 pound of nuts is going to be $5.95. Well, to figure out the other ones, I'm sure if I asked you, hey guys, how can we figure out the total cost of 2 pounds of nuts? You'd say, well, Miss Bills, just multiply $5.95 times 2. Okay, so I would do $5.95 times 2. What about for 3? Oh, let's just do $5.95 times 3. And yep, you guessed it, $5.95 times 4 and $5.95 times 5. Not only does this help us fill out our table, but hopefully it helps us see what our pattern is. So let me just go ahead and fill out this part of my table. We have 1190, 1785, 2380, and 2975. While I was doing that, did you guys figure out what our function was, what our pattern is? Hopefully we see that every single time we're multiplying by 595. And what are the numbers that we're multiplying 595 with? Oh, our x. So let's go ahead and say that y is equal to 595 times x, or the total cost is equal to $5.95 times the number of pounds of nuts. Now, when we go to graph this function, we know that pounds of nuts is our x and our total cost is our y. We also know how to plot points pretty well at this point, hopefully. So we have 1, 595, 2, 1190, 3, 1785, 4, 2380, and 5, 2975.